Well, the MTV Awards have come and gone, but people are still buzzing about Miley Cyrus's raunchy performance.
They sure are. Yep, the former Disney star has twerked her way into the national conversation. Here to discuss the fallout and whether this has helped or hurt Miley's career is Wendy Wilson, news editor at Essence magazine, and Erika Souter, editor at thestir.com. Welcome, ladies.
Hi.
So let's just dive in. Miley. Everyone's talking about her. Mika Brzezinski called Cyrus deeply troubled and deeply disturbed on MSNBC. A columnist for the Washington Post called her America's worst nightmare.
Oh, no.
And many have called her routine just plain racist. What did each of you make of the performance?
Well, I will go
we'll
first.
start with you.
Sure. I particularly was not fond of Miley's performance. I think that, she did it for shock value. She said on the red carpet when she was interviewed by Sway that she was going to do something to really sort of, immortalize her at this event. And just in the vein of Madonna did a couple years ago with Christina and Britney, and she certainly got what she said she was going to do.
Sure
right?
did.
So,
what did you think of it, Erika?
I actually did not think it was as bad as people are saying.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
There were some horrifying elements. I was very embarrassed for her family. Very embarrassed. But she's doing what every single pop star has done up till now. And it's actually necessary. It's the way the industry has created this formula for how you stay relevant and how you stay with it and how you make money.
Almost a one-up technique.
Exactly.
But Erika, piggybacking on what you just said, it's nothing new. Madonna
new.
making out with Britney Spears and Christina Aguilera.
Right.
Britney Spears dancing with the Python.
Exactly.
Kanye running up on stage and snatching the award out of Taylor Swift's hands.
Right.
Why is everyone so bothered?
I think
It's the VMAs. It's all about shock and awe.
Right, but I think people are bothered because everyone remembers Miley Cyrus as Hannah Montana.
Okay,
It's the one
well,
little
Hannah
girls-
clearly left Montana.
She certainly did. She's in Oz somewhere. But yeah, people want to see her as this innocent, perfect, cute little girl that their little girls can look up to. But for Miley, she doesn't want to be that anymore. She's long past that. So this is what you do. You do something that's shocking. You change your image. You become this really sexual persona. And I'm not saying that it's the most appropriate thing to do.
Right.
But I don't know if she has much of a choice when all of her peers are doing that. Everyone says, well, Hillary Duff didn't do that.
Right.
But people aren't talking about Hillary Duff the way they're talking about
That's a
Miley
very good
Cyrus.
point.
Here's another good example. Look at Pink. Pink is an artist who didn't conform to that. She went against that as much as possible and just as popular. So there's not necessarily that's the route one has to take to be successful.
But she also wasn't a child star that then tried to cross over. I think the
Right.
difference that we're talking about here is these child stars that try to act more adult and try to prove that they are now adults. So do you think she went too far? It doesn't seem like...
Look, the teddy bears alone.
Erika's fine with it.
No, the teddy bears alone was just too much. The foam finger was too much. I think she just went too far.
The foam finger was definitely very
That was
graphic.
gross.
I mean, the
That was
twerking
gross.
was the least offensive thing.
Absolutely.
That's true.
Her simulating
And it's not just her.
certain sexual acts with the black woman's backside was also quite
It was
interesting.
Yeah, it was offensive. I can see why people take offense to it. She could have done many different things. She could have brought another star out there and kissed her. She could have come out with a snake. She could have done a lot of other things, but I understand why she wanted to shock us into caring about her.
Right.
And when she shocked everyone, it generated more than 300,000 tweets per minute. It broke records. So ultimately, did this help or hurt her career?
Look, and when you're a pop star and you want to stay relevant, there is no such thing as bad press because people are still talking about you. People are going to still ask you to be on their shows. You're still going to have your record deal. You may even get another TV deal out of it. You're going to be in movies. So people still want to see her, even if they're grossed out by her.
So in Hollywood, is notoriety better than respectability? Wendy, what do you think?
In Hollywood, notoriety, unfortunately, is better than respectability, only because you have more people talking about you, more people engaged with your brand, with your name, right? But when it becomes dangerous is when you are a young pop star and your image is being taken in by young people, and then they start adopting what you are doing. They start personification of your what your performances or your image. That's when it becomes dangerous. We have so many young girls who have eating disorders, who don't feel worthy, not looking at themselves like they are worthwhile and that get depressed.
Or maybe thinking the only thing of value that they do have to give to the world is their body.
Exactly.
But then what do you do when you see a Kim Kardashian who makes a sex tape and all of a sudden she parlays that into a multi-million-dollar empire?
Right.
Paris Hilton, same blueprint.
Same thing.
What incentive do these girls have to play it safe? Doesn't it pay to be a bad girl?
There's a show called Bad Girls Club that's all about being a bad girl and why, winning the show and being the top bad girl. But I think what it is that people are so interested in fame. They're not necessarily interested in being great actresses or singers because they see that, I can be famous just by doing nothing pretty much, but embarrassing myself in front of a camera. And so that's the obsession. I mean, it's not a celebrity's responsibility, I don't think, to educate our kids or keep our kids in line. It's the parents' responsibility.
So at this point, what do parents tell their children when they see all this happening and they're seeing these role models that they are looked up to as role models? What do you say to your children?
Parents need to have that conversation. I think they need to be watching these shows with their kids and talking to them as they, the Miley performers. I don't say turn it off. I wouldn't even say that. I say have the conversation afterwards. What did you think about that? What are your thoughts about that? What are your friends doing? Are they twerking as well? Do you know how to twerk? Where did you learn how to do that?
I know, right? Your 3-year-olds up there twerking.
Right. Again, parents need to be more engaged with what their children are viewing and ingesting when it comes to media.
Why do these female child stars feel like they, in particular, have to be overly sexual or promote their bodies to telegraph that they're grown up and they're mature? It's almost as if I'm not a little girl, here are my boobs. I'm proving that.
Because
why?
The maturing of your body is a sign of womanhood for a lot of girls.
But why do you have to share it with the world? I mean, Britney, Amanda Bynes, Christina, Lindsay Lohan, Selena Gomez. These are all little Disney stars, and all of a sudden, they come busting out. Why do you have to share everything with the world? Just show us your ID. We know you're grown up.
If you're seen as this cute little sweet sing-song star, the easiest jump into adulthood would be to show yourself in a more sexual way, because that's a clear division between child and adult in their minds. It's not like becoming a great actress and winning an Oscar or anything like that. And it's, they could do those other things. They could build up their resume and do all kinds of work, but it's not fast enough. And right now, they want it fast, they want it now. And with guys, it's kind of unfair because boy stars can just date a hot supermodel and then they're seen as like men.
Absolutely.
With girls, it's very different. There's a different path because, they can't date a bunch of people and have the exact same effect.
That's true.
That's a good point. People like Justin Timberlake, you didn't see him going off and doing all these bad boy things to try to get recognition.
So is it easier for them to transition into adulthood?
I'd say so.
I mean, but you have a Justin Timberlake, but you also have a Justin Bieber who's having a little bit of a rocky time.
As is Chris Brown.
As is Chris Brown.
Well, there are other things going on there.
Oh, that's the understatement of the year.
Yeah, indeed. I think it's a different path altogether. I don't think it's necessarily easier for the boys, but they do have their own issues to overcome. Do you have enough girlfriends around you? Do you have enough boys around you in terms of your b-boys and the guys you hang out with? And the pressure that brings about when you have your friends telling you to do certain things that you may not want to do, but to keep that status, you have to.
So at the end of the day, what is the driving force that's causing these bad behaviors? Is it because this is what they have to do to stay relevant? Is this what the public wants? Is this what the industry says you have to do?
They spent their entire careers being in front of the camera being famous. They need to take it to the next level, and the only model they have for taking it to the next level is to sexualize themselves. And I think that's what's causing that.
There's always Dancing with the Stars. Is that where everybody goes to get rediscovered?
But you have to wait till you're washed up.
Already washed up, yeah.
Exactly. Then you get rediscovered. No one wants to see you naked, so you do Dancing with the Stars. Okay. Some people have actually called that performance racist. I didn't see it at first, but when I pulled back and started reading a number of the articles, they pointed to the fact that Black women's bodies in particular were objectified. And there was a lot of smacking of the behinds, et cetera, et cetera. What did you two make of that? Did you see any racist elements in the performance? Someone even called it a minstrel show.
Right. I didn't take it as racist, although I know that certain outlets have said that twerking has been appropriated to the African American community. I hope not. But, fact is that that's probably a dance move that we originated, that we started, that we do well, that Black women do in particularly well. But when I thought about it, I said, well, doing the butt back in the day, how is that different from twerking?
Right.
Dance hall, how is that different from twerking?
Right.
I mean, this is not something new, but it's something we need to end. Let's move on from the twerking phenomenon, shall we?
And the other difference is that it was Miley on stage dancing with these girls, but nobody mentioned the fact that those same dancers stayed on stage and were twerking with 2 Chainz and Robin Thicke and everybody else. Everyone forgot that they were on stage doing it still.
Right.
So is it a racist thing that it's because of Miley and it's our own Black community that is in turn racializing the situation?
Well, I think that the fact that, Miley's getting all this press for doing something that Black dancers have been doing for a long time.
Right.
And I think one of the issues is, like, why is it now a trend? Why is it now a big deal when she does it, when it's something that we do it and we do it better? I think that's kind of like the attitude that's going along with it. It's almost, I think they feel like it's a little offensive. And if people have made complaints about the entire night that there are all of these homages to maybe Black culture, if you want to call it that.
Right.
But no, I don't think any African American won an award that night.
But a number of people won awards for performing quote unquote Black music or
Right.
music that was heavily influenced by Black culture.
Exactly.
But the white
In
artist
Brooklyn.
walked away.
In Brooklyn.
Very good point. But the white artist walked away with the awards,
Right.
and the Black artist walked away with nothing.
Right. So I feel like people think it's kind of like a double slap in the face.
Got
Here she
you.
is doing these moves, and then, the whole night was just kind of a letdown for a lot of people.
So where does Miley go from here?
No, she's probably gonna have a movie deal, another CD coming out. I don't think this hurts her career.
You don't?
No,
It may
I
not
don't.
hurt her career, but here's the question. What do you think Miley is doing if she's in a room alone by herself right now?
Twerking.
Do you think
She's tweeting. She's tweeting
Do you
and
think
twerking.
she's feeling? Do you
Lonely.
think she's feeling lonely, embarrassed? How is this going to affect her psyche over her career? That's the question I really want to know.
Well, it also depends on who's around her feeding her. Saying, good
Absolutely.
job, girl. You're doing great. Keep it up.
Absolutely.
Doing this. So do you
Exactly.
think that her image should stay down this path of being risque?
No, I certainly don't think her image should, but I can see why she would choose to do that. And you're right. When a lot of stars, I've worked, been around the stars my entire career,
Right.
interviewed so many of them, and the one thing that is true of every single one is that no one in their lives really tells them no, or you shouldn't do that, or puts them in their place, or anything like that.
Right.
They're always kind of told yes, and oh, you're so fantastic, you're so fabulous. So she may think, yeah, she's getting all this backlash, but she may really not feel like she did anything that wrong.
Absolutely.
Yeah, she's tweeted about it. 306,000 tweets per minute. And she was very excited.
Win-win.
So in
Yeah,
her mind, it's a win-win for her. Exactly.
Exactly.
Well,
Well,
ladies,
didn't she-
having you both here is a win-win for us. Thank you
Yes.
so much
Thank
for being
you.
here. Come back again soon, because
Thank
you know
you.
these kids are going to get into
Oh,
some
I know.
trouble.
There'll be something else soon.
All right. We still want to know what everybody at home thinks about this whole situation, so tweet us about it at Arise TV 360.